Welcome to the 18-plus horror podcast. Stories too dark for the daylight. If you're brave enough, like and subscribe before it finds you.
February 2nd, 1959. 9 experienced hikers, students of the Ural Polytechnic Institute, venture into the desolate slopes of the Ural Mountains. Their destination, Mount Otorten, known to the indigenous Mansi people as Do Not Go There. This expedition, led by Igor Dyatlov, becomes a chilling enigma, a case study in the unexplainable. The hikers were found dead, scattered across the snowy landscape under bizarre circumstances. Their tent, sliced open from the inside, suggested a frantic escape from an unseen terror. Some were found barefoot, scantily clad, despite sub-zero temperatures. Others bore strange injuries, internal damage, missing eyes, a missing tongue. The official investigation concluded, a compelling natural force, a phrase as chillingly vague as it is unsatisfying. What kind of force drives 9 experienced hikers to flee their shelter into a frozen wasteland, half-dressed in the dead of night?
The Dyatlov Pass Incident is a labyrinth of unanswered questions. The official explanation leaves a gaping hole in the narrative. A compelling natural force? An avalanche? If so, why were the bodies dispersed so widely, with injuries that didn't match the typical avalanche trauma? Some of the hikers' clothing showed traces of radioactivity, an unsettling detail that deepens the mystery. Then there are the strange orange orbs witnessed in the sky around that time, both by the hikers themselves, as noted in their recovered diaries, and by other independent witnesses in the region. These reports add a layer of the inexplicable, hinting at something beyond our conventional understanding of natural phenomena. The mountain, known as Dead Mountain by the Mansi, carries with it its own unsettling history and folklore, whispers of ancient rituals, and powerful unseen forces. Could the hikers have stumbled into something they weren't meant to see?
The photographic evidence adds another layer of disquiet to the incident. The hikers' final photographs, recovered from their abandoned cameras, paint a picture of increasing unease. Early photos show a group of friends embarking on an adventure, their faces filled with anticipation. Later images capture the growing darkness, the looming presence of the mountain, a sense of encroaching dread. One particular photo, taken just before they pitched their tent, shows a strange, almost luminous figure in the distance, partially obscured by the falling snow. Its nature remains unidentified, fueling speculation of everything from a rare atmospheric phenomenon to something far more sinister. Coupled with the bizarre placement of the bodies and the inexplicable injuries, these images suggest a descent into terror, a confrontation with the unknown in the frozen heart of the Urals.
Let's delve into the theories surrounding the incident. Some propose infrasound, a low-frequency sound wave undetectable to the human ear, but capable of inducing panic, nausea, and even psychological distress. Could the wind whistling through the mountain's unique topography have generated infrasound, driving the hikers to flee in a state of terror? Then there's the theory of a military cover-up, suggesting the hikers inadvertently stumbled upon a secret weapons test and their deaths were staged to conceal the truth. While intriguing, neither theory fully explains the full range of anomalies, the strange injuries, the radioactive clothing, the unexplained lights. We have to consider that perhaps, just perhaps, the hikers encountered something beyond our comprehension. Something residing in the liminal spaces between dimensions. A force or entity not governed by the laws of our reality.
The Ural Mountains, February 1959. 9 experienced hikers, students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, venture into the desolate, snow-covered expanse of the Ural Mountain. Their destination, Mount Otorten, translated from the local Mansi language as, "Don't go there." Already, an unsettling foreshadowing hangs over the expedition. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group is well-equipped and prepared for the challenging winter conditions. They maintain regular diary entries and take photographs, meticulously documenting their progress. Yet, these very records, meant to preserve their memories, become the chilling testament to an unfolding horror. What started as a routine winter trek quickly descends into a nightmarish enigma that continues to baffle investigators and fuel speculation even today, over 60 years later.
The last known campsite paints a disturbing picture. Discovered weeks after their disappearance, the tent was found sliced open from the inside, as if the hikers had fled in a desperate panic. Footprints leading away from the tent, some barefoot, some wearing only socks, suggest a hasty escape into the sub-zero temperatures. Scattered around the campsite were personal belongings, cameras, food, and equipment, left behind, as if the hikers had no time to gather them. The official investigation initially pointed towards hypothermia as the cause of death, a plausible explanation in such harsh conditions. However, as details emerged, the hypothermia theory began to unravel, revealing far more disturbing possibilities.
The bodies themselves tell a story that defies simple explanation. While some hikers did indeed die from hypothermia, others presented injuries that were perplexing, to say the least. Some had severe internal injuries, including fractured skulls and ribs, but without any corresponding external wounds. One hiker was missing her tongue. The level of force required to inflict such trauma was substantial, and the lack of external damage suggested something beyond conventional explanation. Furthermore, some of the clothing tested positive for unusually high levels of radiation. These details, combined with strange orange orbs sighted in the sky around the time of the incident, began to fuel speculation of something far more sinister at play, something beyond the realm of natural phenomena.
The Mansi people, the indigenous inhabitants of the region, have long held spiritual beliefs tied to the area around Kholat Syako. They speak of malevolent spirits and forbidden places, adding another layer of mystery to the incident. Some believe the hikers stumbled upon a sacred ground, disturbing ancient energies. Others whisper of infrasound, a low-frequency sound produced by the wind interacting with the mountain's topography, capable of inducing feelings of panic and terror. Could the hikers have been driven to madness by unseen forces, compelled to flee their tent into the frozen wilderness? The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains a chilling testament to the unknown, a stark reminder that there are places in this world where logic and reason fail, where the veil between the known and the unknowable becomes terrifyingly thin.
The Dyatlov group's initial journey seemed uneventful, a typical winter expedition in the Ural Mountains. They meticulously documented their progress through photographs and journal entries, showcasing a team of experienced hikers enjoying the challenge. But as they ventured deeper into the wilderness, a subtle shift occurred, a creeping unease that permeated their journey. One entry, written by Zenaida Kolmogorova, mentions a persistent feeling of being watched, a sensation echoed by another hiker, Lyudmila Dubinina, who spoke of an unsettling presence just beyond the tree line. These initial feelings of disquiet, though seemingly insignificant at the time, foreshadow the horrors that would soon unfold. What started as a challenging but exhilarating adventure was slowly morphing into something far more sinister, a descent into an inexplicable nightmare. The landscape itself seemed to shift, becoming a character in their unfolding tragedy.
The photographs from those early days are particularly chilling when viewed in retrospect. While the hikers appear cheerful and engaged, there's an almost imperceptible change in the light, a strange, diffuse quality that hangs over the landscape. Some experts have suggested atmospheric anomalies, peculiar light refractions caused by unusual weather patterns. Others point to the indigenous Mansi people's legends of malevolent spirits inhabiting the area, entities that could manipulate the very fabric of reality. Whatever the cause, these early photographs capture a palpable sense of dread, a premonition of the horror to come. Looking at their faces, knowing their fate, one can't help but wonder if they subconsciously sensed the approaching doom, if those smiles masked a growing unease deep within their souls.
Another disturbing detail emerges from the recovered film rolls. Several frames show what appear to be strange, orb-like lights hovering in the distance, just beyond the range of the campfire's glow. These lights, dismissed by some as photographic anomalies or natural phenomena, remain unexplained. Igor Dyatlov, the group's leader, made a cryptic note about these lights in his journal, describing them as unnatural and moving with intention. He doesn't elaborate further, but the entry is underscored, suggesting its importance. This seemingly minor detail, when combined with the hikers' growing sense of unease and the strange atmospheric phenomena, begins to paint a picture of a reality unraveling, a world where the familiar laws of nature are subtly distorted, paving the way for the unthinkable.
The final campsite, discovered weeks later, provides the most unsettling piece of this early puzzle: the tent, slashed open from the inside, as if the hikers fled in a blind panic, abandoning their supplies and equipment in the dead of night. This frantic escape, coupled with their initial reports of being watched and the unexplained lights, suggests that something terrified them, something beyond their comprehension. The fact that they fled into the freezing darkness, inadequately dressed, points to a fear so profound, so primal, that it overrode their survival instincts. This desperate flight, a clear break from rational behavior, marks the point of no return, the moment when the expedition crossed the threshold from a challenging trek into a terrifying confrontation with the unknown.
The Dyatlov group's tent, discovered sliced open from the inside, paints a frantic picture. They fled into the sub-zero night, inadequately clothed. Some were found wearing only socks and underwear. The official explanation of an avalanche doesn't account for the strange injuries, the crushed ribs, the fractured skull, the missing eyes and tongue of Lyudmila Dubinina. And then why cut the tent open from the inside if an avalanche was burying them? It defies logic. Then there are the traces of radiation found on some of their clothing. Why? What were they exposed to? The indigenous Mansi people's legends of the Mountain of Death and malevolent spirits add another layer to this unsettling mystery. It's as if the natural explanation, however improbable, is somehow less terrifying than the alternatives.
The paradoxical nature of the evidence is what makes this case so chilling. The hikers were experienced. They wouldn't have panicked and fled their tent without a compelling reason. Some theories posit infrasound, generated by particular wind patterns interacting with the mountain's topography, could have induced intense psychological distress, even hallucinations, explaining their irrational behavior. But this still doesn't fully account for the physical injuries. The missing eyes and tongue, in particular, almost suggest a ritualistic element, although no evidence supports such a grim hypothesis. The radiation, too, remains unexplained. Could they have stumbled upon some clandestine military activity? The Soviet era was shrouded in secrecy, and many files related to the incident remain classified to this day, fueling further speculation.
Let's consider the layout of the bodies. Some were found huddled together, seemingly attempting to share body heat. Others were discovered further down the slope, as if they were fleeing something further up the mountain. What were they running from? The orange orbs, reported by other hikers in the area around the time of the incident, add a bizarre, almost supernatural dimension. Were these meteorological phenomena, or something else entirely? Some have speculated about UFOs, or even interdimensional anomalies, but such theories, while tantalizing, stray into the realm of pure conjecture. However, the lack of concrete answers leaves room for these unsettling possibilities to take root in our minds. It's a testament to the inexplicable nature of the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
The official investigations, both then and now, seem inadequate, almost intentionally obfuscating. The initial Soviet inquiry concluded that a, quote, compelling natural force was responsible. A vague and unsatisfying explanation that does little to address the specifics. More recent investigations, while offering slightly more detailed analyses, still fail to connect all the dots. The psychological impact of prolonged exposure to extreme cold and darkness is certainly a factor to consider, but can it truly account for the full spectrum of what transpired on that mountain? I keep circling back to the idea that something more occurred that night, something that perhaps we are simply not equipped to understand. A confluence of unusual circumstances, environmental factors, and perhaps something else.
The autopsy reports, as fragmented and redacted as they are, paint a truly horrifying picture. Internal injuries consistent with immense pressure, yet no external signs of corresponding trauma. One victim had her tongue missing, another had his eyes missing, and several suffered from strange skin discoloration, a deep orange-brown hue. These details point to something far beyond a simple avalanche or animal attack. The levels of radiation found on some of the clothing, the strange orange orbs witnessed in the sky by other hikers in the area around that time. It all coalesces into something deeply unsettling. We're left grappling with the question, what kind of force could inflict such damage, leave such peculiar traces, and yet remain so elusive? Conventional explanations simply fall apart under the weight of these anomalies. It begs the question, Are we looking at something beyond our understanding of natural phenomena? Something otherworldly?
It's the inexplicable nature of the injuries, the sheer strangeness of it all, that truly chills me to the bone. The tent slashed open from the inside, as if they were fleeing from something within their own shelter. Their desperate descent down the mountain, barefoot and half-dressed in the freezing snow, suggests a blind, overwhelming terror. They weren't just running from the elements, they were running from something unseen, something we can only speculate about. Then there's the photographic evidence, those strange light patterns in the sky, captured by the hikers themselves. Dismissed as lens flares or military tests for years, they continue to fuel speculation about a potential extraterrestrial or even interdimensional presence. Were they unwitting witnesses to, or perhaps victims of, forces beyond human comprehension? The Dyatlov Pass incident pushes us to the very edge of our understanding, forcing us to confront the terrifying possibility that some things simply defy rational explanation.
The Mansi tribes, indigenous to the area, have their own legends about the mountain, referring to it as Dead Mountain, a place where spirits dwell and trespassers are punished. Their stories speak of strange lights and powerful forces at play on the slopes. While easily dismissed as folklore, these accounts mirror the chilling experiences of the Dyatlov group, adding another layer of unease to the narrative. Could there be a connection between the ancient beliefs and the hikers' tragic fate? Were they intruding upon a sacred space, unknowingly triggering a protective response, whether supernatural or something else entirely? The intersection of the scientific evidence and the indigenous legends creates a disturbing synergy, hinting at a deeper, more unsettling truth than any single explanation can offer.
It's as though the very landscape itself holds a malevolent energy. The whispers of infrasound, the documented cases of strange electromagnetic phenomena in the area, it's all woven together into a tapestry of dread. Infrasound, known to cause feelings of unease, paranoia, and even hallucinations, could potentially explain the hikers' apparent panic and irrational behavior. Perhaps, coupled with some other unknown environmental factor, or a confluence of strange events, it pushed them to the brink of madness. Could this remote, desolate mountain pass be a nexus point, a place where dimensions bleed into one another, where the veil between our reality and something else, something far more sinister, is thin? The Dyatlov Pass incident isn't just a cold case, it's a stark, chilling reminder of the vast unknown that surrounds us, a testament to the forces we don't understand, forces we may never fully comprehend.
We've discussed the strange details surrounding the Dyatlov Pass incident, the inexplicable injuries, the abandoned tent slashed from the inside, the bizarre downward trek into the freezing night, the traces of radiation on some of the clothing, and the strange orange orbs witnessed in the sky around that time. But could there be a darker, more esoteric explanation beyond the avalanche theory, or even infrasound-induced panic? Some researchers point to a possible curse connected to the indigenous Mansi people, whose sacred lands the hikers were traversing. Legend speaks of a vengeful spirit guarding the mountain, punishing those who trespass without respect. This might explain the seemingly irrational behavior of the hikers, as if driven by an unseen force. Could they have stumbled upon some ancient ritual site, awakening a dormant power? The Mansi were known for their shamanistic practices, and some theories suggest the hikers unwittingly disrupted a spiritual ceremony, invoking a deadly curse. It's a chilling thought, but perhaps one we can't ignore, given the inexplicable nature of the events.
The curse theory, while intriguing, doesn't fully account for the physical evidence. The injuries, particularly the internal damage suffered by some of the hikers, suggest a force far beyond any traditional understanding of a curse. Some propose the presence of a high-frequency infrasound, perhaps generated by unusual wind patterns interacting with the mountain's topography. This could explain the feelings of intense fear and panic that seemingly drove the hikers from their tent. Infrasound can induce disorientation, nausea, and even psychological disturbances. It's also been linked to feelings of dread and the presence of an unseen entity. Couple that with the potential for hypothermia-induced paradoxical undressing, and you have a plausible explanation for the hikers fleeing into the night partially clothed. Still, even this doesn't entirely explain the strange orange orbs or the consistent reports of unusual lights in the sky around the time of the incident.
The Mansi legends speak of gateways, dimensional rifts in the fabric of reality, located in these mountains. They believed these portals allowed passage between our world and others, realms inhabited by beings beyond human comprehension. Could the hikers have inadvertently stumbled through one such portal, encountering something truly otherworldly? The radiation traces found on the clothing of some victims could be a residual effect of such an encounter. The orange orbs, seen by other hiking groups in the area around the same time, could be further evidence of this interdimensional activity. This theory, while seemingly fantastical, begins to tie together the seemingly disparate pieces of the puzzle: the unexplained injuries, the strange behavior, and the unexplained aerial phenomena.
Consider the timeline. The hikers set up camp on the slope of Kholat Sayal, translated as Dead Mountain, a place already steeped in local lore. It was late, and darkness had already fallen. Then, something caused them to flee in terror, slicing open their tent rather than using the zippered entrance. The levels of terror experienced must have been immense. What if the source of that terror wasn't something cleansed our reality, but rather something that intruded from another? Perhaps a transdimensional entity, something briefly glimpsed through one of these supposed portals, its very presence radiating a fear beyond human understanding. The physical injuries could then be the result of this entity's passage, a side effect of its interaction with our world. This certainly leans into the more fantastical, but it's a chilling possibility.
So we've meticulously dissected the Dyatlov Pass Incident, examining the known facts, the bizarre inconsistencies, and the chilling theories surrounding the skier's demise. We've explored everything from avalanches and infrasound to paradoxical undressing and the strange orange orbs witnessed in the sky. Yet, we're still left with a profound sense of unease, a gnawing feeling that something crucial remains elusive. The official explanation of a compelling natural force feels woefully inadequate, almost dismissive, given the sheer strangeness of the scene. 9 experienced hikers, fleeing their tent in the dead of night, inadequately dressed, some with horrific internal injuries but no external signs of trauma. It's a puzzle with missing pieces, a story with a twisted ending we can't quite decipher. Where does this leave us, after 7 episodes dedicated to unraveling this mystery?
It leaves us on a precipice, staring into the abyss of the unknown. We've explored the mundane, the possibility of an avalanche, a military exercise gone wrong, or an encounter with hostile Mansi tribesmen. We've also delved into the more esoteric, the potential for infrasound-induced panic, the presence of unidentified aerial phenomena, or even the influence of some unknown, perhaps multidimensional, entity. Yet none of these explanations fully satisfy. They each address certain aspects of the incident, but fail to account for the totality of the strangeness. The paradoxical undressing, the cryptic journal entries, the unexplained injuries, these details continue to defy rational explanation. They hint at something beyond our current understanding, a force or phenomenon that operates outside the boundaries of our known reality.
And that's the truly unsettling aspect of this case, isn't it? The possibility that we're confronting something genuinely incomprehensible. The injuries, the radiation on the clothing, the inexplicable terror that drove these seasoned hikers into the freezing night. It suggests a reality-bending event, something that transcends our conventional understanding of the natural world. The Dyatlov Pass Incident isn't just a cold case. It's a gaping hole in our comprehension of the universe. It's a chilling reminder of the vast unknown that surrounds us, the unseen forces that may be lurking just beyond the veil of our perceived reality.
Precisely. And perhaps that's where we must leave it. Not with a neat resolution, but with a lingering question mark. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains an open wound in the fabric of our understanding. It's a stark testament to the limits of human knowledge, and a chilling reminder that there are forces at play in this world, in this universe, that we may never fully comprehend. Perhaps some mysteries are best left unsolved, some doors best left unopened. Because what lies beyond may be more terrifying than we can possibly imagine. The silence of the frozen wasteland holds its secrets close, and perhaps, for our own sanity, it's best that they remain buried beneath the snow.
So we've meticulously dissected the known facts of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The inexplicable tent slashing, the bizarre injuries, the scattered bodies, the strange orange glow, the traces of radiation. We've explored the official explanations, from avalanches to paradoxical undressing, and yet none truly satisfy. The questions remain: why cut the tent from the inside? Why flee into the freezing night inadequately dressed? Why were some bodies exhibiting internal injuries consistent with a high-speed impact, but with no external signs of trauma? The more you delve into this case, the more the mundane explanations crumble, leaving a void filled only by unsettling possibilities. And perhaps, as some theorists suggest, that void is occupied by something we don't fully understand, something beyond our current comprehension of the natural world.
It's the inexplicable details that grip you, the inconsistencies that gnaw at the edges of reason. Igor Dyatlov, a seasoned hiker, making such an apparently irrational decision to camp on a slope. The strange, almost ritualistic placement of some of the bodies. The whispers of local Mansi legends about the mountain being a sacred, forbidden place. And then there's the inexplicable feeling, even when studying the case files from afar, of a profound wrongness, a palpable sense of dread. It's as if the very air around the incident is charged with something unseen, something unnatural. Could it be, as some believe, a confluence of unusual natural phenomena? Or are we witnessing the intersection of our reality with something else?
We're left with a chilling choice. Either accept an unsatisfying, incomplete explanation grounded in the known world, or entertain the possibility of something truly unsettling. Infrasound-induced panic, a military experiment gone awry, or even, as some have proposed, an encounter with an unknown intelligence, a force operating outside the boundaries of our understanding. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains an open wound in the fabric of reality, a testament to the limitations of human knowledge, a stark reminder that some doors are perhaps best left unopened. What haunts me, though, is the thought that perhaps that door was opened for them, that something reached into their world and irrevocably changed it, forever.
The silence of the Ural Mountains keeps its secrets close. The snow falls year after year, covering the traces, burying the questions. Yet the echoes of that fateful night continue to resonate. Perhaps we will never truly know what happened on Dyatlov Pass. Perhaps some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved. A stark testament to the chilling unknown that lurks just beyond the periphery of our perceived reality. But if you listen closely, in the howling wind and the creaking ice, perhaps you too can hear the whispers of the mountain, and the unanswered questions of those lost souls. And maybe, just maybe, you can sense the unsettling presence of something else.
That was this week's Dive into Darkness. Subscribe to the 18+ Horror Podcast and come back if you can sleep again.
You've been listening to Whispers After Midnight. Sweet dreams, if you can sleep.